All right, thank you very much for staying with us. We switch gears right now and we talk about today in history. Actually, today is World Habitat Day and, of course, World Architecture Day. And when you talk about both, it's talking about the ecosystem and they're quite related, actually. And when you talk about Monday 6th, that's the day, but 6th of October every year has been set aside as part of World Architecture Day. The International Union of Architects, UIA, and they are calling on architects, designers, and communities worldwide to center their thinking, according to them, on designing for strength and a platform for resilience and sustainable rebuilding. Now, putting it in Nigerian context, we look at how it affects us here in Nigeria, the business or the profession of architect and the business of architecture, addressing the housing deficit conundrum here in Nigeria. We have with us the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, or Osun State Chapter, Architect Wale Oladumoye. Good morning, architect.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Today is your day, if I may say it that way. For people in your line of business, what is the significance of today for you as a Nigerian architect?
Thank you. Today is World Architecture Day.
Yeah.
It is in parallel with World Habitat Day. However, we are celebrating World Architecture Day today in Osun State. We are joining our counterparts all over the world to celebrate the day. The World Architecture Day was created in 1985 by the Union of International Architects. And the purpose is to celebrate architecture. Architecture shapes the physical environment. And the day is to celebrate the architecture and architect the people behind the shaping of the physical environment. This year's theme is design for strength. Design for strength is the sense that architects should design buildings that are resilient, buildings that are durable, sustainable, and that has a cultural significance. As well, in our own state here, we have a sub-team that is a safe home, safe community. How do you achieve that? You only need to engage architects to have a safe home. When you look at an architectural drawing, they all comprises of lines. All these lines, they have meaning. All the lines, they have meanings. Then each line has a economic tag, in the sense that every line architect draw it. We are advocating for people to engage architects in all their designs in the state so that they will have a comfortable home. The strength we are talking about on the teams today is more than what the resilient, durable, and adaptability that we are talking about. When you have a good design, designed by an architect, when you are tired from work like this, you are going home. When you get home, you will gain your strength back. It's like a place where you re-energize. But that you get that only when you have a good design, when the design is done by an architect.
All right, because of the want of time, so you talked about safe house, safe home, and all of those. The lines from architect, everything having a meaning and connotations and importance. So now you talk about a durable house and all of those things. So I like to say, with respect of the building collapse that we have been seeing in Nigeria, we have architects in Nigeria, many of you, doing what you know how to do best. So the issue of building collapse in Nigeria, shouldn't architects be held responsible for building substandard homes that are, wasting resources and killing people? Tell me why architects should not be held responsible for that.
Thank you for that question. With the list of buildings, the collapsed buildings that we have in Nigeria, if you go through them, you don't have architects on them.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is this a research?
Yes, I'm very sure of that. When you engage an architect, it's a team. A building design, a building construction is a teamwork. It is not something that only one person can do.
This is a huge disclaimer saying architects are not involved.
Architects are not involved. Yes. Yes, architects are not involved.
All right.
But the reason I'm saying this, in our state here, some people will be saying, okay, this is a local state, you can just engage anybody to do this thing for you. No, engage someone that you can hold responsible. When you engage an architect, you can hold him or her responsible. You don't need to go to Abuja. Just locate where the office is. Or the office is NI is. Tell him the chairman or anybody you meet at the office, the number of that such person. But we've not recorded any collapse that has an architect. So if you are engaging an architect will not do it alone. He will engage other people. The structural engineer who is trained to do some work on the building so that we won't have this issue of collapse we are talking about. You engage a quantity surveyor who give you the quantity of materials and monetary aspect of it. Likewise, mechanical and electrical engineer. So it is not a one-man show affair.
All right.
So in a situation where you have collapsed building, just check around. You see that these Baba Kama and associates that are doing it, not the professionals.
All right, architect, because of time. Since we are celebrating World Architect Day and World Habitat Day as well today, I'd like to ask you two questions that covers both sides. The first one, talking about architects. Nigeria right now has a housing deficit of over 20 million units. From a professional standpoint, what is your organization doing to improve that? That's one. And number two, since it is also World Habitat Day, what specific steps are you taking to ensure that Nigerian cities are more habitable, they are more eco-friendly to the people?
Thank you, sir. Our national body, I'm very sure they are collaborating with the Ministry of Housing to achieve this. There was about a month ago, we had our program in Osun State, the Oasis. The president was here and he even mentioned it. The national body, they are collaborating with the housing ministry to achieve this deficit we have in our housing program. What's the second question, please?
That what are you doing? What steps are you taking to make sure our cities are more habitable and inclusive and eco-friendly?
As a chapter here, as a chapter in Osun State, we are even advocating that we should look inward, look for material that we can get around here. Number one, those materials are eco-friendly. They are from our area here. When we talk of climatology in building, they suit our buildings there. So let's assume that you have a brick wall now as against a concrete wall. It is better, cooler inside than having this concrete block. We only need to work on this. Academia, they are working on this seriously at the university. The only thing we need to do now is to connect the gun and the town together so that we achieve a better result through this.
So you're saying the brick walls, what's the difference? Please try to enlighten us now, because I saw your report. It's been a long time now talking about how effective and how good it is to use brick walls, the advantages of using bricks in buildings. So what actually is the difference?
Okay,
you try to compare bricks to concrete.
Let me cite one example now. The secretariat in Nigerian, bricks was used majorly on those buildings. It needs little or no maintenance. You decide to use a mechanical means to ventilate the building, but if you don't want it, you still get the adequate temperature in the building. That's one of the reasons of using our local materials. God created them for us here. We are only not using it. We are importing materials that are not meant for our environment. Definitely, they are not going to work perfectly for us here.
All right. Now, that same seat that you are sitting right now, a few months ago, your national president, Architect Adini, sat down, that same place, and spoke about some things. And I remember we talked about how cost effective it is actually, to have these professionals for somebody who is, the way we say it around here, who is begging God to have a roof over his or her head, and had a very tight budget that she has labored for almost his entire professional life to gather through cooperatives, through whatever, a sum of money. And you're telling the person that he should not call, quote and unquote, Baba Kamo, and he or she should get, an architect, a quantity surveyor, engineer on site, all of those persons just to build a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom flat that he or she has been planning all her life for, and you are saying all those people should be there. just because we are bringing this home. You're an architect and you are telling us we should be eco-friendly, we should contact professionals so that at least we'll have a peace of mind with our building and everything will be fine. But this is our reality. Somebody is having like maybe 4 to 8 million or 10 million naira, and he or she wants a building. And all of you, the professionals, have to be on ground. Make that make sense.
Do you know that the professional, they do pro bono for indigent people?
I don't know.
It is available.
Pro bono?
Pro bono,
How
yes,
does that
for
work?
indigent people. When I know that, okay, you are struggling, even may I send them, you see them developing their property incrementally.
Yeah.
So looking at this, you know that this person needs.
Who does that? Your individual members or your association?
Association.
Okay.
Association. I remember there was a time when one of our past chairman, Architect Omigbodo, was in as the chairman of this state. He made the announcement on one program like that people that the indigent people that could not, we are going to do this.
Who are the indigent people? Let's define them, because almost everybody right now are indigent in Nigeria. What's the definition of indigent?
The indigent, I think we have to look to that through federal government. They have this program. The people they are sending money to.
Okay.
They class those people as indigents.
Okay.
So I think we should use that template.
The poorest of the poor.
Yes, we should use that template.
You realize almost everybody is poor. So now, so that you answer that question. So how does that work? Somebody on a tight budget and needs professionals.
Okay.
Please explain, because we're educating.
It is very simple. When you engage an architect, he gives you an effective design. The cost the architect will save for you, we pay more than twice of the money of his bill. He is going to, okay, when you look at these people that are engaging quacks, eventually you see some walls that are not even necessary. You see some dead spaces in the building, and you still work, you will spend money on those spaces. If you are designing a just 2-bedroom, and you have a passage of about 20 square meters, what are you using that 20 square meter for?
So if they engage professionals, you can even help them in saving money.
Definitely, through effective designs.
All right, architect, for the sake of our viewers, I'm quite interested in your pro bono services. How can we get pro bono services in simple terms?
In Osun State here, if anybody needs such assistance, let him contact us.
How?
The chairman or anybody,
the organization,
the organization, the NIA Osun State chapter.
Okay, do you have an email address?
But definitely we have. I will give you before I leave this place. We must ascertain that such person is the poor.
That's the issue. Yeah. So how do you ascertain?
That's the point.
The template of the federal government that they are using to send money to the indigent people. Still available.
How many people are receiving that money? Do you have the templates? Because we asked that.
We are talking about
that.
Do you have the register? Do you know?
We can get that. At least that
might sound political. It might actually be defeated at the end. Because the thing is this: if you see somebody wearing a suit like mine and he addresses, it goes to your office, definitely that person is disqualified because he's wearing a suit.
You are not poor.
Really?
They should come naked.
You are not poor.
To show that they are indigent. All right, as we round off right now, because one point that you made is contacting professionals can even help cut costs, unnecessary costs.
Yes.
And I think this is an information that so many people didn't know, because the thing is, ordinarily speaking, they will feel a chunk of the fund will have been eaten. That's the way we say it here. Taken off by the professionals. You call electrical engineer, this engineer, that engineer, architects, surveyors, and all of those persons on a tight budget, and the person is depressed, and we go and call Baba Kamo, who has been building for 30 years, and truly Baba Kamo has been building for 30 years. So why should anybody not contact any figurative Baba Kamo?
No functional design. No functional designs.
What's a functional design?
A functional design is your activities. Okay, like now, you are in the studio now. The next activity to you must be close. You should walk the shortest distance to get to the next activity. I've stayed in a building before I even gained admission to study architecture. We have a kitchen at the one hand, the diner at the other hand. Anything could happen before you even take your foot from the kitchen to the dining. Accidents, so many other things.
So that's a non-functional design.
No, it's not a functional design. Then the passage that is linking the two spaces, functional spaces together. Why are you spending your money on that? Instead of spending a lot of money on that, why not use half of that money to pay your professional and give effective design that you live inside and you enjoy.
Let's address the issue of quacks in your business. How much of a problem are they? And how do you have them in Osun State?
Yes.
How are you addressing their issues?
We have more than enough of them. Not only in Osun State, all over the country, and not even only in our profession.
What are they doing to your job?
If you look around Osogbo now, you see development going around. At the end of the when you go there to ask, you don't see architect there, even you don't see engineers sometimes. So they are just building there. And we're having building collapses, just that they are not fertile. And I don't pray that comes before the government look into this. We need to look into this to have professional on every building. Have your architect, have your engineer.
You're already calling upon government. You are an association. You are the chairman, I should say. What are you doing to address the issues of quacks?
Our association have a template which has not been implemented yet in Osun.
What's that?
APRN. Okay. So every project should have a register with the ACON. So if you are having a building now, you must have an APRN number. So if you have your APRN number, definitely you have an architect, because you cannot get the number without an architect.
You're not just raising funds with that.
No.
Won't you just will it be free?
It's not going to be free, but very insignificant money compared to what one can lose if there is a building collapse.
In that case, which means you are supervising all the buildings, but for you to issue that number to anyone, it shows you are involved.
Definitely.
All right.
However, there is limits to, you can terminate my work at the design stage and not engaging me for the construction.
All right.
We have two segments.
Would that not be counterproductive? How about if the initial stage is fine and the building?
That is why the main reason you need to engage architect throughout the project, because architect is in the position to coordinate other allied professionals.
All right, architect. Now that we're in the era of technology, how exactly has your association and you as an architect been using technology to improve cost and quality of buildings? How can we leverage on technology to improve cost and quality as far as buildings are concerned in Nigeria?
We've been using that even before now. You can't go. There was a time when we were even studying the university, we only used pencil and T-square. You see on the university now. For now, then we switched to AutoCAD. I think I started with release 14, release 13, release 14 before AutoCAD 2000. So we started, and yearly we're improving on this. And the one thing is that the software cannot do your job for you. It is garbage in, garbage out. That is why you still need someone behind the computer to do it for you. The computer cannot give you what you need. And the reason is this. You cannot see a design in Dubai and import it down to Osogbo and you want it to be functional.
Why? Why is that so?
It's because of the climate. We study climatology a lot in the university. We need to apply it to every design we are doing down here. So if you see a design, even in Kaduna, you see a design in Kaduna, you're bringing it to Osogbo. It may not be functional. You may not enjoy yourself in the building.
But it's the same Nigeria.
It's the same Nigeria, but we have the different climate.
All right. It's always good. Right, very interesting actually, because that sometimes you just in your area, just see some buildings and you are wondering how. In fact, there was a time I was in a house hunting spree, and I got a particular building. I won't mention the name of the town, and there was only entrance, no exit in the place. I told myself, God forbid that thing.
There's one way.
But we have so many of them. So what do you do to that? Only an entrance, no exit. And because of the housing deficit, people will take anything. 30 seconds. How do we address that?
Did you ask if that building has an architect? It can never.
I only want a house. I can't be asking who built this house.
It can never. It can never. Yeah. Well, we still go, apart from the association input in this, we still need the government to assist us.
Is there a framework to that effect in Osun State?
No, not
Ministry of Environment, Ministry
now let me say, okay, we are still appealing to the government, the state government, to implement the physical planning law in the state. That one will help a lot.
All right.
The law has been signed already, but it has not been implemented.
Implementation.
We need the implementation of that.
Yeah.
If you submit that type of design in Lagos, where they have a physical planning, it can never
Hope
be.
You are pushing for it.
Definitely. It can never be approved.
All right, architect. Because of time, since it's also World Habitat Day, we need to talk about the environment. So coming down to a place like this, what are the best materials that should be used as far as building is concerned? And let's talk about roofing, for instance. In a place like Abuja, where the sun is, we have baking heat right there. Sometimes you can visibly see steam on the road. So the weather is quite different. So they use some kinds of roofing materials. So in your opinion, what are the best forms of roofing materials to be used depending on location? And let's take here, for instance, Osun State, for instance, what would you advise? What are those materials you would advise people to use just for them to be comfortable? Like you said, people should be able to go back to their homes. Their home should be a fortress. So what are the best materials to be used in a place like this?
We're talking about the best material. Not everybody will be able to afford it. However, the available material can be designed in a way that you still get the comfort within the building. Engage an architect. Give him your budget. Even as someone that has just a tight budget, give him the budget. Okay, if you cannot use this stone-coated material, you want to use aluminum. He knows how to design your roof that in a way that it accommodates the heat that is coming. The heat will not be thrown into the space, the functional space of your bedroom or sitting room before the night. After when the sunset, the heat will be thrown out of the building. So, but it requires the input of professional like an architect to achieve that.
So instead of spilling for everybody to enjoy, you rather have them get a professional before you can disclose such an information. It's okay.